Live from WSLS, this is 10 News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
More than 79,000 Virginians still without power. What crews in our area are doing right now to get the lights back on.
We're learning more about the man charged in this weekend's Amber Alert abduction, why investigators say he could be a serial predator.
Another major event canceled, what it means for businesses who rely on the St. Patrick's Day festivities in downtown Roanoke. Good morning and happy Tuesday to you. We thank you for waking up with us this morning. I'm Patrick McKee alongside Jenna Zipton and Rachel Lucas.
And some good news, we may get a little break in the weather today. I know we're all sick of this gloom, right? Chris Michaels is here this morning with the good news.
Yeah, so we start out gloomy. We start out dreary with some fog and some clouds as we give you a live look this morning from the Roanoke Blacksburg Airport Skycam. As the wind picks up a little bit in the afternoon, might see some breaks in the overcast. But unfortunately, do have to let you know about a winter storm watch that is issued for Thursday. So again, today and tomorrow we're mostly dry, but by Thursday, looking at mostly freezing rain. This will start out possibly as some snow and sleet near into the north of U.S. 460. This could actually wind up being pretty much an all-day kind of thing. More on that in just a little bit. But Roanoke and Covington at 35, Martinsville 34, Blacksburg 33. So any slick spots are pretty much few and far between. As we head toward the Roanoke Valley, though, notice your high temperature in the middle 40s. That's close to the middle of the day. Temperatures gradually drop a little bit as we head into the afternoon.
Still around 80,000 people in the Commonwealth are waking up without power this morning. According to Appalachian Power, they're around just under 10,000 now. Just getting the latest update in, around 9,600 people in Southwest Virginia without electricity. Most of those are in Franklin, Floyd, and Henry counties. Crews continue working to restore power. Line mechanics say freezing rain has created a muddy mess, making it difficult for bucket trucks to get to down lines. Some workers are forced to restore power by hand. Appalachian Power has around 1,000 workers on the ground prioritizing critical services like hospitals and fire departments first, then tackling larger outages.
I got a lot of family that's out of power too, and they're calling me all the time, when's it coming back on? And all I can say is we're working 16, 17 hours a day, and we're trying to get it as fast as we can and as safely as possible.
Power is not expected to be fully restored until tonight in Franklin County and tomorrow night in Floyd and Henry counties.
Stay up to date on the latest forecast where you live by downloading the 10 News weather app. You'll also find the most up-to-date list of school closings. We have those updated with more coming in. You can find those on WSLS.com. Right now, Pittsylvania and Halifax County schools are closed today, along with Grayson County Public Schools. That one coming in within the last hour. Winter weather is hitting across the country from the northeast to the southwest. Some 130 million Americans are under weather alerts this morning. In Texas, icy roads causing this truck to jackknife near Austin, while Dallas is under a thick layer of white. More than 10 deaths have been blamed on the weather, and millions of people have been forced to endure the cold conditions without power. The bitter cold temperatures are expected to last through today.
The 36-hour abduction in Southside is over, but the investigation into what happened continues this morning. 21-year-old Caleb Merritt remains in jail while the 12-year-old victim is with her family and medical professionals. The girl was reported missing out of Henry County Friday afternoon. Police eventually found them the next day in Henderson, North Carolina, about 2 hours away, by tracking an electronic device. Henderson police tells 10 News they were in the green Grand Marquis, tucked away behind a building off the interstate.
The street level patrol officer was able to locate and apprehend this individual who appears to be perhaps a career individual related to these types of instances based off of his criminal history or the knowledge based on that.
Investigators describe Merritt as a serial predator who drove from Texas to Henry County and camped in the area. They say he was talking with other young girls and may be charged with more crimes by other police departments.
Cases like this aren't uncommon. We're working for you to make sure your child stays safe. Experts recommend routinely checking their browser history and supervising all internet-enabled devices. They also advise parents to discourage the use of webcams and mobile video devices. Most importantly, they say keep an open dialogue with kids about internet safety.
Police arrested a man they say killed a woman and then threw her body into a river. 22-year-old D'Angelo Bonds is charged with second-degree murder. Roanoke police say he shot and killed a woman he lived with in an apartment on Bennett Drive Northwest and then disposed of her body in the Roanoke River. Police have not released her name. Meanwhile, police investigating a robbery at a home in Roanoke last night. Officers tell 10 News they responded to a shots fired call on Hunt Avenue near Lincoln Terrace Elementary around 10. When they arrived, it turned out to be a robbery at a home nearby. Police say no one was hurt and they're still searching for a suspect.
6:05 this morning, and what's news today? The city of Roanoke is expected to reaffirm its strategic plan for the next year. Council reviews the plan annually, making adjustments as necessary. It focuses on 7 areas, including education, community safety, and the economy. Governor Northam is expected to make a major announcement about rent relief. In his budget proposal, Northam called on lawmakers to approve hundreds of millions of dollars for the pandemic response, including $15.7 million on a rent and mortgage relief program.
The superintendent of Montgomery County Schools will recommend students return to the classroom next month. All students will have the option to attend 4 days a week, with Wednesdays being a home learning day for students and planning day for teachers. Remote instruction will still be offered. The school system estimates 69% of students will attend all day. The Pennsylvania County Board of Supervisors holds a public hearing tonight about changes to voting precincts. The Chatham and Central absentee precincts will move to the new election and training center on Depot Street. The office is scheduled to open in the new location next week. The board will also meet with the school board to discuss budget requests.
The Amherst County Board of Supervisors holds a public hearing about moving a polling location. The county wants to move District 3's polling location to New Prospect Baptist Church. Tonight's meeting starts at 7 at the administration building. The Franklin County Board of Supervisors could authorize buying new electronic poll books. The current vendor is not pursuing recertification of its equipment. The price tag, $114,000. Ordering the equipment now should ensure it's in place for the June primary.
The General Assembly passed a bill yesterday to move any elections held in the spring to November. Voting rights groups in favor of the proposal say it will boost voter participation, but local elected officials worry it could lead to more partisan voting. The governor has not said if he supports this bill.
Construction on Capitol Square in Richmond is moving forward. This newly released video shows a behind-the-scenes look at the new General Assembly building, Old City Hall, and Morrison's Row renovations. Much of this progress has gone unseen with fewer visitors to Capitol Square over the last year. The new General Assembly building will be complete next summer. Old City Hall renovations will be complete in spring of 2022. Morrison Row renovations should be finished by the end of this summer.
Governor Northam's March 15th deadline of getting students back to the classroom is about a month away now. Local school divisions are working around the clock to prepare. 10 News reporter Annie Schroeder is working for you with a breakdown of some of those plans. Annie?
Jenna, good morning. Newly released guidelines from the CDC shows that students can return to the classroom safely. Now, school divisions all across our region are working to make sure those guidelines can be met. Now, most Roanoke City School students haven't seen a full week of in-person learning in almost a year. Most students have been doing a mix of in-person and virtual learning. Roanoke City Superintendent says she is proud to have some of those students back in the classroom already, but there are concerns over high community spread of COVID-19 in the city.
We have been inching our way forward step by step, methodically, carefully, responsibly, understanding that our region is in high burden and substantial transmission. We understand that, but we also understand the importance of children being in school.
Now, the superintendent says the school division is working very closely with the Roanoke City and Allegheny Health Districts to welcome those students back safely. The final plans for reopening are expected to be presented to the school board in the upcoming weeks. Live in the newsroom this morning, Annie Schroeder, 10 News, working for you.
The first major event in the area canceled due to COVID-19 last year won't happen this year either. Downtown Roanoke Inc. told 10 News the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade and Shamrock Festival has been canceled, citing current restrictions. A major blow to businesses who count on the big crowds.
I kind of expected it, but yeah, still disappointed. It's by far our busiest day of the year. I mean, hands down.
Martin's is still planning a St. Patrick's Day celebration, but on a much smaller scale, inside and socially distant.
6:10, getting students caught up from the pandemic could take months or years. We're working for you, breaking down how students are doing with grades and what summer school could look like.
Then new at 6:44, the only one of its kind in the Star City.
Since I'm from here, it can be whatever I want it to be, so yeah.
How one local barbecue joint is spicing things up in Tasty Tuesday. Doesn't that look good?
Plus, tracking the early warning signs of dementia in loved ones, while some may be found in your bank account.
And as is usually the case, got the heat on in the car. Some of us, especially in the NRV, may need to have the wipers going. A little mist, a little drizzle out there, but the ice scraper not needed today. Completely different story as we get closer to Thursday. We're breezy at times today, but a significant amount of snow, sleet, and ice looking more likely by Thursday. We'll break down that system for you in detail coming up in about 5 minutes.
Your local weather authority's coverage on 10 News is about your family. Know your zone. 5 specific areas so you easily spot what's coming your way. Working to watch and always track for you. Your local weather authority on 10 News. WSLS 10 News, the proud winner of the 2020 Emmy Award for Best Newscast.
In health headlines, new research shows certain financial habits can be a key indicator of early signs of dementia. One study found dementia patients were more likely to miss bill payments up to 6 years before being diagnosed, and subprime credit scores can show up to 2.5 years prior. Dementia actually accounted for up to 20% of the missed payments. To recognize the early warning signs in loved ones, look out for unpaid or unopened bills piling up in the house, irregular buying of items they already own or don't need, and difficulty in simple math skills. If your loved one is diagnosed, talk about attaining a durable power of attorney.
You can go ahead and pay his or her bills, so you can help them make medical decisions when they can't speak for themselves.
They may feel a loss of control, so giving them small amounts of cash and minimizing the spending limits on their credit cards can keep them feeling independent without risking any drastic losses.
McDonald's famous green milkshakes are back. The seasonal Shamrock shake returns for a limited time. The minty treat was created 54 years ago in celebration of St. Patrick's Day. It's vanilla soft serve with a hint of mint and finished with whipped cream. There seems to be two sides of this. You either love them or you hate them. I'm on the love side. Chris is too. Joining the Shamrock Shake for a second year, the Oreo Shamrock McFlurry, which I have not tried, but sounds delicious.
Your local weather authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
All right, and still a decent amount of green on the radar, but fortunately for us, it's out and toward the east. So you notice that storm system that gave some of us rumbles of thunder, that's no longer really an issue for us. On the backside of it, we'll turn a little breezy heading into the afternoon. Temperatures looking like this, especially through the middle of the day. You may see temperatures gradually come down a little bit during the afternoon. Bedford, Roanoke, 46. Floyd at about 40, but Martinsville at 50. Alta Vista, 49. Lexington at 44. But again, the wind is going to pick pick up a little bit from time to time. It's not going to be howling out there, but it will be breezy with wind speeds 10 to 15 miles per hour. The gusts in the yellow there are 20 to 30 miles per hour. And because some of us are still dealing with ice on the trees, even a gust up to 30 miles per hour could add to some sporadic downed limbs, maybe a few hit or miss power outages out there. But colder tonight as the wind calms down. Hillsville 17 by tomorrow morning. Martinsville and Rocky Mount at 21. Covington at 21 as well first thing tomorrow morning. So make sure to bundle up as you head out the door tomorrow, and make sure to plan on Thursday being a staying inside kind of day. I know we've said that a lot over the past few weeks, but the odds of winter weather keep going up for us as we head into Thursday. And this is pretty much a wintry mess from start to finish. Early in the morning, we'll probably start out with a mixture of snow and sleet, especially near into the north of US 460. But your main type of precipitation, there you see the pink, is the freezing rain that will come up from south to north. So once again, icy roads are looking likely, and unfortunately with the amount of moisture coming in, additional power outages are going to be a concern as well. So we've broken this down into kind of three categories. Where I think you see more snow is going to be farther north of I-64. You could see a mix of sleet and snow from Lynchburg out west toward Blacksburg, but the farther south you go, it's mostly freezing rain. But keep in mind that freezing rain moves from south to north. Looking at anywhere from about 1/4 of an inch to perhaps 1/2 an inch of ice. Isolated higher totals as well. So this, unfortunately, another big concern for us. We'll keep you posted every step of the way on your local weather authority app. Just look up WSLS 10 weather in your app store, and we'll keep you posted. For the Roanoke Valley, we're slightly cooler tomorrow. We start out with sunshine or a partly cloudy sky. The clouds increase ahead of this next system. There's your 100% chance of a wintry mess on Thursday. Now, beyond that, we're windy at times Friday, and that'll make restoring power for those of us that lose it more difficult. We do see more sunshine popping up on the 7-day into the weekend. It'll still be pretty cold. 30s for highs in the Roanoke Valley. Saturday, back into the 40s by Sunday. We're in the 40s today in Lynchburg, and then slightly cooler tomorrow. Much cooler Thursday, obviously, with that mess of wintry weather moving through. We'll keep you posted on totals over the next few days. Lower 40s by Friday with a breeze. More sunshine Saturday. We're in the 30s, but back into the 40s after starting in the teens on Sunday. Time now 6:19. With all this weather going on, it's causing still some problems in Southside.
It sure is. Trees and power lines are down. There's also high water spots as well within the county, so you can expect some delays this morning. May have to find an alternate route to get where you're going. Just be careful as you head out.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to put a bow on the region final action here in the Valley. Patrick Henry girls hosting North Stafford Region 5D with a state semifinal appearance on the line last night. The Patriots did jump out to a 20-5 lead after 1 quarter, and they stayed focused. Here, nice dish. Shelby Fiddler to Minnie Childress. She has 3 of her 19. Then on the break, Savannah Derry able to score off a turnover. She had 19 points. PH goes on to win 64-25. They are your back-to-back Region 5D champs. Meanwhile, in Tallahassee, Florida, number 16, Florida.
Staying safe.
News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
Today is the last day of revelry before Lent, but Mardi Gras won't look like it usually does. Parades, parties, and pageantry are typically synonymous with Fat Tuesday in New Orleans, but this year the Big Easy isn't going big. But that doesn't mean you can't still celebrate, don some beads, and bake a traditional king cake. Maybe you'll get lucky too and get the baby Jesus hidden inside. Megan brought a king cake last week. I found it, super excited about it, not letting it go. And if you plan to give up something for Lent, enjoy it because it's off limits until Easter Sunday. Are you all going to give up anything?
I would say that's a no. So I have been seeing a lot of people in Louisiana have been decorating their homes instead of the floats that they usually do. They've been decorating their homes, and it's really cool what they've done.
Yeah, I love Mardi Gras decorations.
Yeah, especially the, what is it, the green? Yeah, well, there you see it. The green, the yellow, the purple. That'd be actually kind of look nice. So.
Looks almost like the little weather map behind you.
Yeah, that doesn't look so nice.
No.
My goodness, the blast of Arctic air just kind of unprecedented for parts of the country. I mean, almost the entire state of Texas has snow on the ground. I've seen webcams of Galveston Bay with snow on the beach. It's just crazy. Arctic blast keeping temperatures about 30 to perhaps 40 degrees below average out there. We're not going to see that degree of cold. In fact, today actually may not feel too bad, especially in Southside where you see high temperatures make their way into the upper 40s and lower 50s. We're cooler tomorrow as we see more clouds moving in ahead of our next storm system. This one is once again going to produce a decent amount of ice for us. So we're looking at the potential for some icy roads, some power outages, but then eventually as we settle into the weekend, yes, it'll be cold, but it'll be dry, and this pattern that we found ourselves in for the past several weeks, at the very least, gets a break. Again, that starts this weekend.
6:26, the governor's deadline to return to the classroom less than a month away. We're breaking down some local school plans.
Plus, a local man who became the first black police officer in the New River Valley. How his focus on education and fairness cemented his legacy in Blacksburg.
This is 10 News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
Winter weather sweeping across the nation, causing concerns for vaccine rollout. How the storm could impact supply.
Summer school could be a reality for many students to catch up. We're working for you, breaking down what it could look like for your child.
With the weather as gloomy as it's been, we could all use a little comfort.
It's like home-cooked comfort food.
That's the best. We're going to show you what's inspiring some great barbecue and cocktails in today's Tasty Tuesday. And a good morning to you. Thanks for starting your day with us here. I'm Rachel Lucas with Patrick McKee and Jenna Zipton.
A lot of people, unfortunately, still waking up this morning in the dark. Appalachian Power says just under 10,000 people are without this morning. Most of those in Franklin, Floyd, and Henry counties. Around 1,000 people in Danville are still in the dark. According to APCO, power should be restored by tonight in Franklin County. Something to look forward to, but it's probably going to be tomorrow night in Floyd and Henry.
We want to get to the good news. We might actually see some sunshine, Chris.
And may try and play a little peekaboo with us as we head later into the afternoon. So at least a sliver of good news for you there. But now, starting out foggy once again. Look at that. The New College Institute Skycam in Martinsville showing the fog, the mist, the drizzle. We just got to get rid of this nonsense, man. It's been days at a time, and unfortunately, looking ahead to Thursday, things aren't getting much better. Again, enjoy whatever little bit of sunshine you can muster today. Winter storm watch in effect for most of the region on Thursday. This is due to the combination of some snow and sleet, especially along and west of the Parkway, and freezing rain for virtually everybody. Again, that would be Thursday. But for today in the Highlands, upper 30s and lower 40s. Notice that being the case through about lunchtime as we head deeper into the afternoon. Temperatures may actually fall a little bit, and they fall big time to about 21 tomorrow morning in the Highlands. We're in the upper 30s tomorrow. Then there's your wintry mess on Thursday. Once that leaves, we're pretty breezy at times with snow on the west-facing slopes Friday. And then finally, a break from this pattern. Even though it'll be cold this weekend, we see more consistent sunshine and drier weather.
Stay up to date on the latest forecast right where you live. Download the 10 News Weather app. You'll also find the most up-to-date list of school closings. Do want to tell you this morning, right now, Pennsylvania and Halifax County are closed today.
The same storm system that brought us rain last night, it brought a tornado to southeastern North Carolina in Brunswick County. That's near Wilmington. This is the aftermath. Take a look at all that damage from this storm. At least 3 people have been reported to have died. 10 are hurt. Emergency management said they found people trapped inside homes. Crews are still working to find missing people. Updates throughout the day here on WSLS 10.
Millions of people across the country have seen Mother Nature's worst up close this week. But even as the storm moves now south-northeast, its impact on vaccine rollout is still being felt in a big way. COVID-19 mass vaccination events across multiple states have been canceled for the rest of the week to keep people from waiting out in the brutal cold and off the roads. Canceled flights are being blamed for delayed shipments of COVID-19 vaccines in multiple states, including Nevada and Florida. Meanwhile, health officials in Texas scrambled to avoid throwing out more than 8,000 doses when they lost power to their freezers.
We're able to get these vaccines that needed to be utilized very quickly into arms and not waste them.
Officials promise delayed vaccinations will eventually get back on track.
Lynchburg opened its mass vaccination site for the first time yesterday. The city converted the old TJ Maxx store at Candler's Station Shopping Center into the vaccination pod. The fire department and school nurses gave nearly 450 shots to essential workers in the 1B category, including teachers, nurses, and transportation staff. The site is not open to the public yet. That is weeks away when the health district gets more doses. You must have an appointment to show up to this new location.
A new statewide pre-registration system for the COVID-19 vaccines expected to be available later today. If you previously filled out a form to get on a wait list, you'll automatically be imported into the new system. The Virginia Department of Health says the new system will allow for a unified and comprehensive process to get people pre-registered for the vaccine.
New guidelines show students can safely return to in-person learning. With a quickly approaching deadline, school divisions are getting creative on how to welcome students to school for the first time in almost a year. 10 News reporter Annie Schroeder is working for you with a breakdown of some of those plans. Good morning, Annie.
Rachel, good morning. Of course, that deadline set by the governor is now less than a month away. Now school divisions are looking at every guideline to make sure their students can stay in the classroom safely. Now, most students in Roanoke City Schools haven't seen a full week of in-person learning in almost a year. Most students have been doing a mix of in-person and virtual learning. Roanoke City Schools Superintendent Verlita White says while she's proud to have some students back in the classroom, her school division has preparing to return for a majority of the school year.
Just inching our way forward very carefully, but we're proud to have kids in person. According to the CDC recommendations that were just published this past weekend, we are in alignment with those CDC recommendations.
The superintendent says the school division is also working very closely with the Roanoke City and Allegheny health districts to consider all aspects of reopening. Now, of course, those final reopening plans are expected to be presented to the school board in the upcoming weeks. Live in the newsroom this morning, Annie Schroeder, 10 News, working for you.
Getting students caught up from the pandemic could take months or years. Many school systems report more absences and failing grades in middle and high schools, according to the Virginia Department of Education. Salem is working on a plan for those older students.
We do not want to have students not graduate this year or next year or the year after because of the pandemic. We expect to have a much larger credit recovery summer school for middle and high school students than ever before. Probably the largest summer school program in the school division's history.
More kindergarten and first grade students across Virginia are at high risk for reading failure. Those numbers up 10% from last year and even higher for Black, Hispanic, economically disadvantaged and English learners, according to the Department of Education. The Salem superintendent says they have a plan for younger students. I'll have that part of the story tonight in Education Matters.
And at 6:36, once again dealing with pockets of fog, mist, and drizzle. You see that in parts of the Lynchburg area. We just saw it in Martinsville from our New College Institute Skycam, but also throughout a decent chunk of the New River Valley this morning. Temperatures, therefore, aren't going to rise all that much in the NRV. We'll only be in the upper 30s to maybe near 40 through about lunchtime. It's after that we see temperatures coming down a little bit throughout the afternoon.
As we celebrate Black History Month, one man has broken many barriers in the New River Valley, what he says helps cement his legacy in Blacksburg.
If storms move through your neighborhood and you safely take a photo or video, feel free to share it with us. Open the Weather Authority app, click Pins on the bottom, then click Drop a Pin. You can upload your picture or video here.
As we continue to celebrate Black History Month, we are looking back on the impact of a man who broke barriers in the New River Valley.
Bill Brown was a young black man coming of age during the civil rights era. He went on to become the first black police officer in the New River Valley, eventually climbing to the ranks of chief. He says his focus on education, fairness, and a positive attitude cemented his legacy in Blacksburg.
I think Blacksburg was maybe 4% African American at that time. And to be able to accomplish the things that I accomplished, I give it all to the good Lord. You know, couldn't do anything without him.
It's a beautiful message. Watch tonight on 10 News at 7 as reporter Shane Dwyer takes a look back at Bill Brown's impact on the community and his thoughts as we continue to move our communities forward.
We are talking about a little warm up today, Chris.
Yeah, we'll take any little bit that we can get, right? Especially, hey, if you head toward the Lynchburg area, that's where temperatures will be generally in the upper 40s. Now, we start out in the 30s, a little bit of fog here and there, but we eventually this afternoon make our way into the middle to upper 40s. A little bit of a breeze as well. We'll show you how strong that gets. Plus, our next winter storm coming in on Thursday. We break down the different types of precipitation we can see with that. It's coming up next on Virginia Today.
Instead of using the market to make money, some have used the market to make a statement. The one word of advice experts have if you plan to invest in the stock market this year.
Slow and steady. Look at this. How long it takes to get this mean-looking brisket smoked to perfection. Yum. Next in Tasty Tuesday.
This is 10 News Virginia Today at 6, working for you.
All right, so every Tuesday is Fat Tuesday here at 10 News. Because of this segment, I'm not calling anybody out, but this one is special. I just said I'm not calling you guys out. We visit a local barbecue joint that pays homage to New Orleans. Let's head to downtown Roanoke to Crescent City Bourbon and Barbecue for today's Tasty Tuesday.
He just has always loved barbecue and loved the intricacy of how to smoke meat slowly.
Andrea Mason's husband Tyler is one of the owners of Crescent City Bourbon and Barbecue, crafting your standard North Carolina and Kansas City sauces, but then adding his own flair.
The Virginia sauce, it's sweet and spicy. Since I'm from here, it can be whatever I want it to be.
Tyler took his talents and passed it on to Jordan Pugh.
Everything I learned in like a year's time from him.
Jordan worked his way up to pitmaster and is just that, a master of his craft, showing the intricacy of a good brisket.
We do our own rub on it, do a mix of our own spices, and make sure we get a good bark on it all.
Just watch all the juice as he slices a few pieces off for us. You'll love to see it. As for the smoking process itself, slow and steady.
We 16-hour smoke, and that brisket is probably a 12.
With foil wrapped around the pork for a very specific reason.
It traps the juice and makes it cook all the way through. Like right now, even the bone is falling apart in my hand. Like you can just crack it in half.
What good is a barbecue joint without some killer sides?
Baked beans, mac and cheese. We got collards, green beans, white chicken chili, regular chili. Side of fries here.
Barbecue is only one half of the name, though. The other half, bourbon. His cocktails are homemade, too.
7 or 8 different cocktails that a couple of our bartenders came up with.
And once we finally break from this crummy weather pattern, you can head outside for the full experience.
It's really cool when it's warm outside and the guys in the kitchen are using the outdoor smoker. Pretty much all of downtown can smell it.
My mouth's watering.
I know, just looking
Literally,
at that. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Looks really good.
Yeah, and just the brisket, I've never had it like quite that juicy and tender, I guess, if that makes sense.
I haven't had barbecue in forever, so I've got to try this place.
You being a North Carolina boy, you gotta get in there.
We live on barbecue.
That's right. It's basically coming out of our pores.
It is. It really is.
That's that smell.
Didn't you know? Keep my social distance from you.
That's for insinuating we were fat, Chris.
Oh, yeah. I knew it would come around. We'll have a link to both the drink and barbecue menu as well in this story later this morning on WSLS.com.
Your local weather authority, always watching and tracking for you from the JES Weather Center.
All right, so yeah, that crummy weather that we were talking about in the story, well, it's actually given us some pretty cool views, and it's awesome to see how the animals interact with the winter weather. I counted like 8 deer in this backyard here. Great shot here from Tabitha in Bath County for today's Picture of the day, not going to be seeing any snow or anything like that today. You got to go way up north for that into parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Although this same system that gave us rain and even thunder last night, that's moving out of here. On the backside of it, we turn a little breezy. Now, it's not going to be incredibly strong, but wind gusts of 20 to 30 miles per hour will be possible as we head into the afternoon, and especially with ice still on the trees, that could cause at least sporadic power outages today. And it's going to be a cold one out there in the NRV. Temperatures upper 30s to near 40 through the first half of the day. Temperatures will actually fall little by little in the New River Valley, the Highlands, and the Roanoke Valley into the afternoon. So these high temperatures you see here are basically through about lunchtime. Lynchburg and Southside, though, upper 40s and lower 50s. Enjoy it because things are going to turn nasty once again by Thursday. Kind of a concerning setup given the fact that we just got through a winter storm with some ice. So we may start with just enough cold air for a light snow accumulation west of the Parkway. That would be early Thursday morning. But as warm air starts to come in above us, that's going to change things over to freezing rain for most of the area through at least the first half of the day on Thursday. As our storm system starts to pull away a little bit, we see things turning less numerous, but still the impacts are going to linger, I think, into Friday. Impacts like power outages across a decent chunk of the area. That's one thing we are concerned about in addition to the icy roads. Could be looking at a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch of ice with locally higher totals on Thursday. Again, you kind of hope for more snow and more sleet, but the better chance of that is again going to be near and to the west of the Blue Ridge Parkway. Thankfully, after Thursday, this pattern breaks. We're all pretty much sick of it at this point. High pressure is going to camp out over the southeastern U.S., and while it'll be cold this weekend, at least it will be dry with more sunshine. As we continue to track the storm for Thursday, make sure you keep in touch with us. There's my social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For the New River Valley, your extended forecast showing temperatures coming down tomorrow into the 30s after starting in the upper teens. We barely make it above freezing Thursday. That would probably be during the evening. And then we're barely near or above freezing Friday and Saturday. The difference being you see more sunshine each of those days. Very cold this weekend. We're in the lower 40s by Sunday. And in the Roanoke Valley, 40s today, but 30s for highs Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So make sure you have some extra blankets around in case you do lose power Thursday, because you're going to need it. It's going to be quite cold out there despite sun on Saturday, but we're back into the 40s by Sunday afternoon. Time now 6:50. We're still dealing with the ramifications from the storm that happened over the weekend, especially in Southside, Jenna.
Pittsylvania County, we are seeing trees and power lines down, as well as high water in spots too, from all the melting and the rain we saw overnight. So keep that in mind, Pittsylvania County. If you have to travel in or around that area, please give yourself plenty of extra time.
6:50 now. New this morning, small investors turned the markets upside down when they teamed up against hedge funds and bought fledgling stocks for a huge profit. However, experts are warning you not to jump into the market in hopes of a quick buck. Instead of trying to make fast cash on the latest hot stock, experts suggest taking a different path.
Stick to your plan. Investing for the long term usually pays out. The tortoise always beats the hare when it comes to long-term investing.
He also believes this is a good time to re-examine investments. For example, you can reset your portfolio and rebalance it so it's in line with your goals.
NASA's most sophisticated rover is expected to land on the surface of Mars Thursday. Perseverance has been traveling through space since the end of July. Once on Mars, it begins a 2-year mission. The rover will search for signs of ancient life and study the planet's climate and geology. But before all of that happens, Perseverance has to go through what they call the infamous 7 minutes of terror, where it lands on Mars without help from NASA teams here on Earth. This is NASA's 9th landing on Mars.
6:52, 5 things you need to know up next. It is 6:55. Here's a look at 5 things you need to know.
The 36-hour abduction case in Southside is over, but the investigation into what happened continues. 21-year-old Caleb Merritt remains in jail while the 12-year-old victim is with her family and medical professionals. Investigators describe Merritt as a serial predator who drove from Texas to Henry County and camped out. They say he was talking with other young girls and may be charged with more crimes by other police departments.
A new statewide pre-registration system for the COVID-19 vaccine will be available starting today. Local health districts closed their forms last week in preparation for the statewide system to roll out. If you previously filled out a form to get on a wait list, you will automatically be imported into the new system.
According to Appalachian Power, just under 10,000 people are without power this morning in Southwest Virginia, most of those in Franklin, Floyd, and Henry counties. Crews continue to work to restore power today. It's not expected to be restored until tonight in Franklin County, tomorrow night in Floyd and Henry counties.
And the winter weather has also brought some school closings and delays. Appomattox, Bath, and Grayson County schools all operating on a 2-hour delay. Charlotte, Halifax, Pittsylvania counties and Patrick Henry Community College are all going to be closed. We're going to keep the list updated for you throughout the morning on WSLS.com.
And guys, unfortunately, more winter weather on the way as we head into Thursday. But for now, we see a break. We're breezy at times today. We're dry most of tomorrow with a mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain, making for a significant winter storm again on Thursday, basically from start to finish. We'll dive more into the timing and possible totals as well as impacts today at 8 o'clock on Facebook Live. We hope to see you guys then.
Coming up next on Today, new findings on the mounting pressures kids are facing during the pandemic.
As we leave you this morning, give you a live look over Blacksburg, Virginia Tech Skycam. We're hoping for a little sunshine later today. None though yet. Have a great day.